Good morning, good afternoon and good evening from wherever and whenever you are in the world. Welcome along to SimRacingOnline.co.uk, the home of virtual motorsport. My name is Ike Sky and I am going to be guiding you through every turn and every wheel spin of the FKR GT4 Tuesday Night Racing League here on SimRacingOnline. A rather fantastic lineup of cars. As you can see on the left hand side of the grid there, you have missed absolutely nothing. The qualifying session has only just started. The drivers are probably out on their qualifying, just starting their qualifying laps now. So if we jump to the 75 car of Simon Geimer, which, cool, that's disconnected. Cool. There we go. It's caught up now. Wonderful. Simon Geimer in the 75 is going to be one of our first drivers out onto his flying lap at this Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit in the southeast of England. My own little stomping ground, been here many times to watch the touring cars amongst other things. Really is a fantastic circuit to drive around. I am envious of the drivers tonight, more so than usual. Really am. The Aston Martin as well in Geimer's hands, looking resplendent in a two-faceted blue and black livery. Up towards the Grand Prix loop we go. Now this is going to be a very, very quick race for these GT4 cars. Because, very, very simply because, also they're very quiet. That's interesting. Let me just get that balanced right for you all. There we go. But yeah, this is going to be a very fast drive for all of our GT4 competitors here tonight. Geimer's coming down towards clearways on the close of his first flying lap. He's going faster than he has before in previous sessions, according to my timesheets. And we'll come across the line to go to the top of the timesheets with a 1:33.6, a fairly competitive time from that 75 Aston Martin. Unfortunately, I don't have... Tell you what, let me see if I can be really clever and get a track map up on the fly. That would be very nice to have. And for you to not have to see it at the same time. But we'll take what we can get. I will say this as we are in the very early proceedings of qualifying. For you drivers who may be watching this back, be sure to click the link in the video description to join the SimRacingOnline Discord if you want to take part in post-race or in fact mid-race, if we do get a moment of silence in proceedings at all, to come and talk to me and get your opinion of the race aired on the YouTube channel. Always nice to have the drivers in and having a chat with us. It adds an air of legitimacy, I feel, to the race. The Geimer's going again. 8 tenths down on Miazza, who has taken the Porsche. Now that I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting that Porsche to be as quick as that. Out again will Geimer go. He's going faster. He will move up the table here, but can only go as far as 4th. Meanwhile, Miazza... I wonder what's causing this lag. That's rather frustrating. I would rather be without. Oh, as Ogos goes to the top of the timesheets in an Aston again. So the top 3 with 4 minutes remaining of this qualifying session is the 76 Aston, the 84 Porsche, and the 122 Maserati of Tim Muttram. If that isn't a statement. Now the Tanner Selvi number 69 Corvette is going to go to the second half of the second row of the grid. Provisionally speaking, there is always time to be made up, and Geimer, you are is remaining our camera car for the time being because he is going even quicker. As Jones goes to the top in the 88 Aston Martin now. Aston Martin seem to be a bit of a flavour towards the top of the timetables here. Not sure how long that'll last. It might just be the Brands is a track specially suited to the intricacies of the Aston Martin. We may see a number of drivers being quite happy as Geimer goes to third, and now Aston's from 4 different marks in the top 4 to Aston's across the top 3. That's how quickly these things can change, and Tim Muttram goes to the top again by 1/1000th of a second. I'm really hoping that my dashboard jumps into life sometime soon. Because I don't want to have to restart my client. I think I know what it was. Or not. We may have to be doing this manually tonight, boys. Yep, I'm very sorry, but it appears that we are without the help of the broadcasting tool tonight. It's a shame. I could have done with that. So, just in case you are suffering from epilepsy or anything similar, there's going to be quite a bit of jumping around as Geimer goes once again to the top of the timesheets. 1:32.5. This track is getting faster and faster with 1:44 remaining. That is Simon giving up. It seems he's not going to be able to get unless he does pull himself out of the pits very, very quickly. There is not going to be enough time left in this session for him to complete a lap. Muttram's running around in second at the moment. And I can't see split times. I was getting a little bit too used to that working. It's not going to work. Okay. Oh, big oversteer moment for Muttram coming up onto the Grand Prix loop. Come on. Very oversteer is that 122. I fear for what the pace of that Maserati might be at come the midpoint of the race if he's having that much oversteer from the qualifying setup of that Maserati. There's every possibility that the drivers might change the setup between qualifying and the race. I still personally think that's a bit distasteful because you would never be allowed to do that in real life racing, but sim racing allows it, so we will accept it. Muttram goes to the top with Maserati with 6 seconds left to go. We're going to have to keep an eye on those timesheets. On the left hand side, look at that, 2 purple sectors and one that was only 2/10 off in the first one for that Maserati Gran Turismo. Absolutely astonishing pace being shown in the early stages of this. We lost a driver. Oh no. I do hope we get... it was someone in 3rd or 4th that we lost as well. I do hope that we get them back before the start of the race. Big oversteer moment again from Muttram. He's still pushing. He won't go faster, I don't think. And that is, yeah, a yellow flag from the number 100 car by the looks of it. Ah no, the 100 car disconnected. That's what we lost. 77 is back in the pits. There we go. I think that's Ollie Bateson back. Yep, that's Bateson back in the back in the lobby, which is great to see. And that is the end of the session. Fortunately, we should have a little bit of time to run through the grid. But the first of these races is looking like it's going to be a very, very closely fought battle at the top of the field, and more or less all the way down the field as well. Tim Muttram will lead the GT4 cars away in the Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4. Then a slew of Aston Martin Racing V8 Vantages from Tony Talviti, Rich Barley, I think, Simon Geimer, and Mark Jones, and Ogos bringing up the rear in 6th. Then next is the Porsche 718 Cayman from Miazza. Selvi is driving the one and only Chevrolet Camaro. Johansson, another Aston Martin Racing V8 Vantage. And Johnson will drive the only Ginetta in the field as well. KTM Crossbow of Isaacs is in 11th position. And 12th will be Dumanas in another AMR V8 Vantage. Rob Milliken will be starting 13th in an Audi R8 GT4, and Bruce will be starting in an M4 GT4. Ollie Bateson in the R8 LMS GT4 will start in 15th. 16th will be Ed Jones in another Porsche. Rychek will bring up the rear. I think he may have had a catastrophic qualifying session in that 570S. And Wenham will bring up the rear for the time being in the third, I believe, Audi R8 LMS GT4. A full grid of cars, I think you will agree. And we'll go to the top. There we go. As is tradition. Oh, someone... Who was that 6th place car that we just lost? That's an awful time to start having disconnections. Good evening there, Raikön. I see you in chat. How's it going there? Any particular car you're cheering on? There we go. Go Steve Face. We'll have a short run to the green flag. And we have to wonder what is going to happen with that hole in the grid. There's confusion behind, as there's a line of 3 cars joining up. The front of the field is nice and neat, but behind it is a little bit of carnage, I must admit. Drivers have no idea what's going on. We will come up to the green flag, and this is what last-minute disconnection can do. We wait for the ticker at the top of the screen to go green. It goes green, and we are now racing with the GT4 cars around Brands Hatch down towards Paddock Hill Bend. Utmost bravery from all concerned here. Just going to see down the back of the grid. Everybody got through there nice and sensibly. Very, very well done to all concerned. No mistakes whatsoever. The 77 is having issues getting into turn 1, and Isaacs in the 888 is in the pits already. That's awful luck for him. Bit of a gap breaking out at the head of the field though. That Maserati, I was saying how he might have issues later on in the race. He's obviously got a very comfortable car underneath him on this first lap with the tyres nice and fresh. Muttram is probably going to be trying to maximise that. Our eyes are on Talviti at the moment. Who's Steve Face, by the way, Raikön? I'll see if I can get some eyes on any battles that might be evolving. Unfortunately, I am without my lovely broadcasting tool. Miazza is looking to pressure Selvi in that Chevrolet. That Chevrolet is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. We'll jump on with an onboard with Selvi later on, because that is a unique sounding beast in this GT4 class, and it sounds awesome. It really does. And I have to put eyes on Mark Johnson just for the fact that he's driving a Ginetta G55 GT4 car. Very, very nice car, very good to drive, and a beautiful livery accentuating those teardrop headlights on the front end of that G55. As I say that, the BMW, what's that, the BMW goes wide? I think that was, yeah, BMW's out on the marbles already, outbraking himself, and he's going to lose a place to the 570S of Rychek. I did think that there was a possibility that Rychek was having a bit of a mare in qualifying. That is him up to 10th position, sorry, in the first sector of the second lap. He's got a lot more pressure. He's got a lot more speed in that. Oh, stop and go 30 for Isaacs. He's a little bit new to this sim racing malarkey. First time out with a steering wheel and joining in one of the most competitive fields that you are going to find. The 888 light blue crossbow. Come on, don't stall it. Meanwhile, at the top of the timesheets, Muttram's still leading, but only by a hair's breadth. Tyres are starting to come in on the Aston Martin now, and he's not letting that gap get above a critical second. Other cars that we need to keep an eye on is Selvi, now been a little bit dropped by the 84 of Miazza, is starting to have a little bit more eyes forward in the form of looking to overtake for Miazza. Not very confident into Paddock Hill Bend there, taking a very, very cautious line through there, staying all the way through the inside. And again, a interesting line through there. As promised, I will jump on board with him, as the base doesn't quite come through as nice as I would like. In real life, this car has a thunderous noise from inside the cab. Yeah, I didn't do that. Okay, that was me, but that shouldn't have been doing that. Thanks, game. I really, really, really needed that. Okie dokie. As the 122 comes down into clearways again. I know it's not clearways. I know it's Clark Curve. I don't care. It's clearways to me. And now down towards Paddock Hill for the fourth time of asking. Those tyres are starting to go off already, and Mottram is going to have an uphill struggle for the win of this race. From, well, the entire field, basically. There we go. Now got Chat located in a slightly more sensible position. Ogos is... Hey, it was Miazza that fell back from the 69 Chevrolet of Selvi, because he's now got the Aston Martin of Ogos on his bumper, looking for a way past. That Porsche is down on top speed. That's where this whole balance of performance thing comes into play, is all of these cars are balanced to go around the track at a certain rate of knots. They all do it in different ways. The Porsche is very much a handling car, but loses out in the top speed. And as you saw, the Chevrolet is an absolute beast in a straight line, but loses it ever so slightly in the corners. Depends on your driving style, depends very much on how you handle your driving as well. If you think you can block into the corners, then the Chevrolet is a very good ask, as it allows you to have that advantage going onto the straights. And let's just jump on board very quickly. You can see here, Muttram's in the pit. I don't know if that was mandatory. I haven't seen anything about that in the regulations, but I could be wrong. Otherwise, that could be Muttram taking his pit stop really early. No, we don't have mandatory pit stop. That is a mistake. So Muttram from the lead has made a mistake. Down to 15th. Does he have damage? It doesn't look like it. I'm going to have a look and see. Because that number 1 car Come on. There we go. So, that number 1 car, what has happened? I love it when the camera can't keep up. Into Sheen and Sterling. He's still okay there. He's still in the lead in this. Quite comfortably so, actually. And what has caused him to jump into the pits then? I wonder if he's not put fuel in the car. No. Still leading the race is the 1-2-2. There has been no mistake. Perhaps the mistake has occurred at the start of the race. So drama for our now incumbent race leader has fallen right to the back of the field. He should make up some places, but that is a costly, costly mistake for Tim Muttram. Isaacs has given up. That's a shame. But now this is a very different fight that we're looking at between these 3 Aston Martins, Talviti, Barley and Geimer. Not separated by all that much. 2nd and 3rd positions is on your screen now. Definitely not worth scoffing at. Also, Norman Bruce is looking to pressure and is indeed being pressured by Ed Jones in the 21 Porsche. Ollie Basin not looking too happy in that Audi, and Rob Milliken is just in front as well. So there has been quite a bit of battling down in the lower echelons of this particular grid. Remember, balance of performance will take these cars up and down the field, depending on which track we're going to. Out through Hawthorns, and then through Westfield. Wonderful series of corners. These absolutely kills the front left tyre, as you're constantly on the brakes and shifting the balance forwards and backwards, but all the time pulling that half to 1G through, even in these GT4 cars. Understeer from the M4 GT4, and that's going to put him right into the grips of the 718, who's going to give him a love bump up the rear. Get him going again. Now, no foul, I would suggest, but not what you want to see. What are we... Oh no, it's just 1 lap going through. Dos Ogos. The end of what I can only say is the battle for 4th position at the moment. Pretty much in the pound seat with that Aston Martin, if he's got the setup to go racing with it. Look at the size comparison between those two. The AMV8 in the 76 car versus the tiny, tiny 84 Porsche. Absolutely ridiculous comparison to be making this GT4 class. Out around the top of the field they go, top of the track they go. And they remain line astern for the time being. I really, really do wish they had the broadcasting tool up. That would make life so much easier to get around the field. This is definitely the closest fight that we're looking at the moment, and into Clark Curve. For the 6th time of asking go, this pair attached by a fairly short piece of elastic. Bit braver is August coming in to Paddock Hill Bend. You can see him running the Aston Martin out slightly wider than the Porsche, having to keep it a little bit tighter. Let's jump on board with him very quickly. As the 84 Porsche goes wide, not confident on their tyres at the moment is Miazza. Breaking into the 3rd corner of Surtees. Graham Hill, sorry. Up towards Surtees now. Getting all the corners mixed up. And who's going to get the drive out onto the back straight? Fairly neat and tidy for Ogos here. He could get up on the draft of that 84 car and make a move up the inside towards Hawthorn. No, not yet. And the Porsche is going to run wide. Oh, and a blink as well. There are some weird connections issues we're having tonight. You can hear the buzzing of that flat 6 in the back of the 84 Porsche. Again, there's so much more confidence in the 76 car. You can imagine if there was an opportunity, all that 84 car needs to do is make one mistake and there's going to be a bigger one from the 84 car. That is going to give Miazza perhaps a breath of fresh air that allows him to start focusing on the 69 Chevy in front. The next closest battle that we've got, unfortunately, at the moment is this battle between second and third. But I can well imagine Talviti is quite thankful for Geimer having to look in his rearview mirrors for Roberto Barley in the number 78 Aston there, because that's just enough. He's just close enough to put him off his game and perhaps make him change his braking lines. In reality, what needs to happen is Geimer and Barley need to work together here, push themselves towards the head of the field, as the leader of Talviti, and see if they can work together to get past him and then fight it out for the overall lead. Ogos has made up half a second back up to the Porsche, and this is what we mean about being comfortable in the car. That Aston Martin has the V8 Vantage engine mounted way back in the engine bay, giving it a really nice, confidence-inspiring balance, so that when you throw it into the corners, you know it's going to stick. And you can see that here. There is just a bit of confidence, a lot of understeer there. You do get that at Clark Curve, to be fair, when you've not quite balanced the car properly on entry. But that was a lot of understeer from the 76, and he didn't get on the brakes. So he's obviously relatively happy with that car's handling. He's not changed his driving style at all. I tell you what, do we have Isaacs on track? I don't see a split time for him. Ah, he is on track. Fantastic. Good man. He may be 2 laps down, but he's still running, and that's what counts. It only takes one big mistake from any of the cars in front of him to cause massive issues. Speaking of massive issues, that 77 car is not looking happy. Dumanas is struggling in that 77. Let's see if we can find him in the 77. It's fine. Ah, we may have just caught it. No, he already had damage there. Already had damage there. That looks like, nope. That's a damage. That's a damage. The problem with it lower down the field is it's so difficult to work out. Front end. This has happened a long time ago. Wow, even then. But this has been a first lap. Oh boy. There's definitely been, yeah, there it is, bump up the rear end from the 570S, and that is what ended up causing the 77 to have issues. I'm pretty sure that damage got worse though. It'll just be happening over time. We'll go back to live racing. This is where it'd be really nice to have a second way commentator. Yep, that 77 is not handling right. Jump up to the top of the field. I'm very sorry for all of you with dispositions averse to jumping screens. There's not a lot I can do about that tonight. Miazza, having cleared the 76 with the mistakes that Ogos has been making, is now pressing up to the back of the Chevrolet, and with that superior handling, this is going to be a sight to behold. Onto the dash camera, the confidence into the apex of that 84 Porsche. This is where the balance of performance takes precedent, and suddenly the 84 has found a bit of a stride, and the 69 is on the back foot. The braking is so much earlier for the Chevrolet. Can he do it under braking? No, he can't. Miazza, a very, very level head on his shoulders. Very good driver is Simone. as we've seen a few times in these ACC championships, and I've witnessed in some RFX 2 championship, I'm pretty sure as well. Over across the start-finish line, and let's just appreciate this battle from the chasing car's perspective. The Chevrolet goes right to the inside, and now you see the confidence that the Porsche has. 69 misses the apex, and now there's going to be so much speed coming up towards Drew as we jump towards the external camera. And braking himself as well does the 84. Very, very good attack there, but for naught. But he's going to look... No, he's not. The 69 goes wide and now into 30s. This might be the opportunity the 84 needs. They're going to go too wide in. Nice and tight to the apex goes the 84. But can the Chevrolet get that drive off the corner on the nice rubbered outside of the circuit? Looks like the Porsche has secured that position for the time being. Chevrolet runs wide, desperately trying to carry more speed through. It's not the kind of thing you want to see chasing you down. Angry, angry American car. That Porsche, absolutely wonderful car to drive as well. I can guarantee that Miata is having a massive amount of fun there. Meanwhile, slightly further down the field, I'm going to keep an eye on that gap between the 5th and 6th place cars, as that doesn't seem... Yep, I thought that was going to be closing in quickly. I thought that Porsche in clear air is not as fast as it needs to be to defend against the onslaught of V8s that it has behind it. I do feel for Miata, because having made that pass, he is at a massive disadvantage. However, he can use this to his advantage in that he knows that he can best Ogos. Sorry man, you'll have to tell me how to pronounce it later. In the nerves department, doesn't know how much of a contention Selvi is going to be, and once again Ogos has fallen away just slightly. We'll focus on Selvi for the... Oh, this is going to be a brave move. It's going to require cooperation from the 84 as well. 69 goes up the inside, but can't make it stick and might well lose a place as the Aston Martin comes around the outside, up towards the Sterlings now, and just about maintains the position. And now with those two running one, oh, and it's all ended in tears as the 69 tries desperately to hang on to the position. There is going to be damage for both as the 69 gets a massive kick of oversteer. Let's see how much damage those two are carrying. They've stayed together, and I can't imagine that the Corvette is going to take that position loss lying down. As the positions line themselves up, I can see that Ginetta's looking to overtake the McLaren, or is that just happened the other way around? I think that's Rychek making his way past Johnson. Let's just jump up to... I'm going the wrong way. Oh, another kick of oversteer from the 6.9 inch Chevrolet. Definitely not happy with that. The gaps at the front of the field are fairly consistent with those Aston Martins. Hardly surprising with the pace there. We need to keep an eye on Miata. 4 seconds in arrears at the moment. If he can bring that gap down, there is still more than enough time to make progress on to the podium, and I'm sure that is something that is not lost on him. 6.9 has speed again. He's going to try the same as he went for the Porsche, but no, he knows that 76 is not going to give him the space. As balanced as that Aston Martin is, it's not as balanced as the Porsche is. There is no way he'd be able to make it through there too wide. I'll have to... Wait! I think that was a bit of a wide moment for the 76. 6.9 is going to try and go wide, but the Aston Martin comes back over to the racing line. Perfectly entitled to do that, of course, as it wasn't even a one move it was a natural transition across to the racing line. Dummy to the outside for the 69 car, back to the inside. The 76 chose a middle of the road line regardless. I don't think that Ogos is looking in his rearview mirrors anymore. He is just going to wait for the car to appear beside him before he concedes a position. Going back to the racing line. Confidence from the Aston Martin this time. Wide goes the Chevrolet. That big block V8 in the front end dragging the front wheels off the circuit. I think, I dare say, Ogos may have secured that 5th position for the Aston Martin. Now what I need to see is, with 8 minutes left to go, that Ginetta was behind for a significant amount of time. Here he's in front. So we did see that position, we have seen that position change there. And it's happened, oh, it's happened up through Pilgrim's Drop, I believe. Didn't quite get the drive off the corner, and McLaren with the engine sat square in the middle of the car is going to give so little space on both sides. Beautifully driven, both of you. Well done, goes straight back to block the line, but that is the position change, and now the McLaren, as we can see, is heading off in pursuit of the number 298 Johansson's car in 7th. So wicked recovery drive from Joel there for the Sol Sim Racing car. Beautiful bit of drifting as well through Paddock Hill Bend. That's how you do it. Thank you very much, Joel. Really appreciate that. Janessa's not going to take it lying down, but there's a possibility that Johnson's thinking, how can he follow the McLaren through the rest of the field? There's not a lot of time left. There are yellow flags. Where is that? The 888 car is, I'm very sorry to everybody. And he's jumped back to the pits. That, I believe, is going to be a race-ending incident for the 888 car. Looks like from the track map he was coming out of Sterling's. Just going to be a simple oversteer onto the inside wall. That 13 is definitely pushing. My goodness, he is not giving up this place yet. Wide onto the grass. Braver man than I going out onto the grass with the tyres fully loaded like that. The 85 cut in the corner. Don't know if he's going to get complained to about that from race control. There's not something you want to be doing on a regular basis if you can possibly help it. And now the 85 has to defend. That Ginetta is looming a little bit too large in the rear view camera. Maybe it's a mirror of the 85 McLaren. Just about has the pace on turn-in to be able to keep the British mark at bay. This is Brit on Brit, by the way. Both in manufacture and, if I remember, car as well. McLaren's going to go wide and give the position back to Johnson. And all of that hard work by Joel Rychek comes to naught for the time being. 4 minutes left. There's still time, if he has pace left in that McLaren, to make a difference. But Muttram's someone who's going to be very interesting to watch as well, as he's just gotten past Ed Jones in the number 21 Audi, and only has a 1.3 second disadvantage to make to the number 100 Audi of Ollie Bateson. That's an Audi. Yeah, there's an Audi behind. So what has happened? Yeah, okay, I'm fine. I was going crazy. That doesn't bode well for the 24-hour race I have to commentate over the weekend. Rob Milliken is in the sights of Tim Muttram, and the closing speed under braking. That Maserati is either looking very well sorted or is a very frustrated man on a mission, trying to get, he's going to go around the outside. Such is the straight line pace of the Maserati. There's going to have to be space left on both sides. They do. Absolutely wonderful racing and respectful racing from both of them as well. Excellent execution from Tim. And you can see he left so much space on the inside. There was no way that Rob could have felt squeezed on the inside. He probably tried to give Tim as much space as possible, which is why he went up on the inside and got that kick for oversteer, but it was absolutely not needed. Utter respect from all of the drivers concerned again, and the two Audis now are going to have a little tussle over 11th and 12th. Rest of the field looks fairly sorted with only 2 minutes remaining, but my goodness, that 100 car is looking interesting. Yep, interesting is the word. On the outside towards Graham Hill Bend. Can he make it stick around the outside? Again, we're seeing all of these crazy lines working for these GT4 cars. That's the glory of mechanical grip here, guys. This is what you're seeing, is you give a car some mechanical grip and it will work wonders for overtaking. And now up in the gap, punched by the Audi R8, the similarly powered 56 car is going to try and look up the outside. The 100 sticks the inside to block. That's going to give him problems on the exit, but it's not a long enough straight to be able to get the 56 around. That's really unfortunate. There's absolutely more than enough time for this to go all sideways yet again. It looks as though the places are relatively settled. That said, I do believe that our leader, where is the 72 car? I think that 72 car isn't going to get around before the end of the lap. '56 car goes up to the racing line, and both of them run wide, massively outbraking themselves. I do believe the tyres may be ever so slightly going off there for the 100 and 56 respectively. How are we looking around the rest of the field? We're going to ignore this for the time being, as we're going to jump to the top of the timesheets with 48 seconds to go. I do believe Tony may get another lap out of this, unless he checks up massively. He's got the space if he wanted to end this race now. But that Aston Martin is a picture of control. Let's jump on board, because we can, to watch a glory lap of Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit from the viewpoint of the 72 Aston Martin down through Paddock Hill Bend. Absolute picture of control. He's not even trying anymore. Up towards the hairpin at Druids, brake at the bridge, which is no longer there because a truck crashed into it. Then back down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. On the brakes as late as you dare. The car will try and drag you wide onto that grass on the outside, and many times we've seen millions of incidents through there. And then again, late as you can, curved braking into Surtees here, and then back on the throttle before you hit the apex to get as much straight line speed onto Pilgrim's Straight and down through Pilgrim's Drop again. Underneath the bridge, you hear that so much more when you do it in R-Factor. Up to Hawthorns, down one gear, balance the front end with the rear on the brakes, and then the throttle, back up and then down 1, 2, just 1 for the V8. So much torque there is through Westfield Bend. Now up towards Sheen, up the hill, down 1, down, nope, another 1 for the Aston, and then this time down the second into Sterling's, and up Clearway Straight we come under the last of the bridges at this Brands Hatch circuit, which I think those two are still actually there on the GP circuit. Down through Clark Curve, and we will welcome Tony Salviti across the line at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit for victory of round 1 of the SimRacingOnline FKR GT4 League. And only 6 seconds behind was Simon Geimer in the 75. 78 will come across in third. 84, a very well driven race by Miazza to bring that Porsche home in fourth. Fifth will be Selvi, and Ogos will come home in a very respectable sixth. Johansson will bring the bright blue Aston Martin home in seventh. They all started jumping to the pit stop. Damn it. Come on. Eighth will be a very, very well-driven Rycheck. Some mistakes along the way, but that is a very shiny 85 car. Mutram, from a very early mistake, will come home. I can't find him. Come on. In the Maserati. There we go. Will come home in 9th. A very good recovery drive, but I'm sure... Come on, give us some donuts. Yes, Tim. Go on. We'll give you more camera time if you do donuts for us. At Druids of all places, that's not where you do donuts, but we'll take it. If you go down the hill a bit, there's a lot more concrete where you can do donuts off the track. 10th position will be Ollie Bateson, who hasn't even come across the line yet. He must have been one of the last runners across the track. Oh no, he has come across. Ed Jones will come home in 11th. Mark Johnson in 12th. Rob Milliken will come home in 13th. 14th will be Norman Bruce. Dumanas in the 77 will come home 15th. And Isaacs will be classified, but 6 laps down. Cutting it really quite tight for that 75% ruling to get classified, but possibly for his first race out here in ACC. Absolutely wonderful race. It was a pleasure to commentate it for you. There is your final standings, which we will massively enjoy, actually. So at the top of the tables, we have 3 Aston Martins, and very much as we saw at the start of the race as well. It's a shame that Maserati wasn't there to spoil the party. However, that is what we have to play with. Next time out in this Assetto Corsa Competizione Championship. Give me a second. That was a very exciting closing stage. Next time out in this GT4 championship in ACC, we will be going to America and to the coastal circuit of Laguna Seca. Using all of the same cars, using all of the same intricacies that we have learnt to love of these GT4 cars, balanced performance as well. Will the Aston Martins be all-conquering once again? Will any of the other marques be better suited to the dusty, barren, dry atmosphere out in America? Or will we see some relatively unknown drivers feel at home in the American climes, and who can master the corkscrew in a very competitive session and season? I don't think we're going to get any driver interviews, unfortunately, even though I did request that you guys, you should come and say hi to me, man. Come and say hi. Come and let me pick your brains for how the race had gone. But in the meantime, I will speak to you next time. Remember, SRO races are held once every 2 weeks, so you will have a lovely break from these GT4 cars and my voice, or you have to hear it again. But what remains to be said is that my name has been Ike Sky. I have been commentating the SimRacingOnline FKR Assetto Corsa Competizione GT4 series for all, and it's been an absolute pleasure. I'm looking forward to the rest of this season. I really hope you guys are. What remains to be said is I will see you next time. Very good night to you all.